Candace Bergen, a stacked cast.
It is a stack cast.
An insanely mediocre movie at best.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that plot line's holding up.
Had you seen this movie before?
Of course I had not. Of course I had not. Who have seen this movie before?
Yeah, it wasn't high on my list when it came out either.
I don't even... Well, okay, here's the thing. I shouldn't even say that. I do not remember this movie coming out. I did not know it existed. I think maybe I had breezed past it in like Disney Plus or something, and I was like, oh, weird. And then just kept going.
Yeah. And absolutely. I think that's the reaction everybody has when they see this, because it feels like a fake movie from 30 Rock.
Oh my God, it does.
You know, Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway, Bride Wars.
Chris Pratt's a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit, I'd say.
But guys, if you have not seen Bride Wars, I am about to give literally the shortest plot description we have ever had. They're two best friends, Liv and Emma. They've always wanted to get married at the Plaza Hotel in June. They both get engaged at the same time. They both want to get married here. There's a mix-up. They're scheduled for the same day, and then they start treating each other like crap and pranking each other and like spray tanning and changing their hair dyes.
It gets pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It gets pretty bad where I'm like, I don't know. Some of this was a little mild and now it's getting it's getting really mean.
And then they end up tackling each other at their actual weddings. Anne Hathaway figures out that she's not in love with Chris Pratt and leaves him at the altar, and they're best friends again at the end, and Kate Hudson gets married. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
There's certainly plot lines that were cut from this movie because they just show up at the end as a resolution. You're like, we never saw that.
Yeah, you just have to. I don't think that was the biggest thing you had to accept in this movie.
No. But this very much feels like a disaster of a movie. Mm-hmm. That was, because this is an hour, 29, I think.
Yeah.
It's short.
Yeah, it's really tight. But it's not tight.
No. And there's scenes in it where they're using stills.
Yeah.
That are one back to another to just show something that's happening.
They're it's the passage of time.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you shot all of that, and it was so bad you had to edit it down into Kate Hudson at the ring store.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me, right?
It really, I don't know what went down there, but it did kind of feel that way to me,
yeah.
too.
And the other one thing was it felt like there was supposed to be some love story between Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson's brother.
And that was really, it was kind of like a wink and a nod through the movie. Whereas Chris Pratt being an asshole, I felt like they were like, oh, we're going to tip our hand a little bit. Literally, in the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, dump this guy.
Oh,
dump this guy.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. So that's clearly who you pegged as the villain of this movie.
Well, yeah, but I think there's a lot of smaller villains I would love to defend. Okay.
Sure.
But I would not like to defend Chris Pratt.
Okay. All right.
I think he's a cunt, and I don't care for him. Okay. I knew he was going to be shit literally from the first second.
Why?
Because you could tell the difference between the way those two men were treating those two women.
Ooh.
Okay, like Kate Hudson's husband was so immediately... Kate Hudson's a literal fucking nightmare in this movie. I'm so sorry. She just is.
Yeah.
Okay, she's a nightmare. We'll get into all of the things she does, but she's an absolute nightmare. I would not want to date this woman. And he's like, doesn't the sun shine out of her ass? And you're like, honestly, good for you. What makes this okay? Honestly, in my opinion, what makes Kate Hudson's attitude and behavior okay is the fact that the man that she's with is just into it and he loves it. And he's like, she's so quirky.
You're a disaster.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, so, I think when she forces his proposal, and what does he say? Yeah, I've never met such an obnoxious, he just insults her to her face.
But she needs it.
But I love you.
But I love you, and here we go.
Here you go. Oh,
it's great. It's
ruins her own proposal.
Yes, she does.
Absolutely.
But she doesn't give a fuck, okay? Yeah. But compare that guy to Chris Pratt, okay? immediately he's saying immediately he's saying stuff like, oh, like the second they get engaged, there's a couple of big ones once they get engaged where it's like, oh, like calling women crazy. Oh.
Sorry, I must have missed that.
So, yeah, Chris, at one point, he's talking to Kate Hudson's fiance.
Kate Hudson's.
Husband.
Kate's husband. Kate's husband. Kate Hudson's husband.
Kate Hudson's. I can't do. I can't. Anyway, so at one point they're talking on the phone, like just very briefly. They're talking
because they're best friends.
Because they're also friends.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, these women are acting like they're acting so crazy. So boom. Okay, hate that. Okay, don't do that. Okay. Then he says something. He also says something to Anne Hathaway about how like, oh yeah, like he can't like control her. And it's like, okay, so is that your whole point? Like you need control over the person you're with? Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't, okay, my problem with Chris Pratt's character was not, it was more so that like I felt like the movie thought they were like tipping their hand and they're like a little bit. They're like, oh, see, maybe this guy might be wrong for her. And I just thought they were just shoving it in our face. Like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Dump him, dump him, dump him.
Fair enough.
Oh, like, I don't like to see you acting crazy, or I don't like to see you acting wild. And I know that was very much in the vein of, like, oh, like, you were just, like, a nice, quiet woman. But every word he could have said, every part he said in a different way and still meant kind of the same thing, but meant it with love.
Yeah, I will say that scene in particular, when he, like, it did feel to me like it came out of nowhere. Like his escalation of.
Oh,
like,
I didn't feel like that at all.
Really?
I felt like he was just being a fucking ass the whole movie.
Oh,
I hated him.
Interesting.
I hated him.
Because I felt like that was like, I don't know. I felt like he was being kind of accepting of all this. Pardon me, but crazy behavior.
No,
they're acting nuts. These two women.
Yes, they absolutely escalate it there, but I don't believe they necessarily really start there, and I think he starts there.
Okay.
I think he thinks they're crazy before they even start getting really crazy. Genuinely. Okay, like I think he is. I don't think anybody should date that man. Not only do I think Anne Hathaway should marry him, I don't think anybody should, where he's at in his life. Yeah, no, fair enough. I guess my point is like the things that she says to him in terms of like at the wedding when she dumps him is she says, you were in love with the woman that I was 10 years ago, and that's not who I am anymore. And like that's fine and that's good, but I also don't feel like we saw that in the movie. Like I don't feel like we saw her get more confident or standing up for herself. No, she started confident. Yeah, right? And they're like, oh, look at this video of you from the university. And it's like, so you were like this the whole time. You were always like this. And you haven't... Oh, because she wins the strip off, and then we find that she was also, like, wild on spring break. Yes, and it's just like, yeah, you've always been able to tap into this. This has always been a part of you. This is just like, you had a fight, you're worried about this about yourself, and somebody reflected something that's not exactly true about you. Yeah. Anyway, I just felt like I didn't buy that she changed. So his flip out about, like, you're not the person I expected you to be. No, that rang so hollow to me. No. I read that. Oh, okay. As I put a ring on your finger and you're not following in line the way I want you to follow in line. Yeah. That's it. Fair enough. In my opinion. His criticisms of her, though, like, I don't know. I like Chris Pratt fine as an actor. I just felt like that was like... Fuck you. I just felt like that was so... badly acted, that scene. Like it just felt, I don't know. I don't think anybody's like Chris Pratt's an incredible actor. No, but he's usually like fine and fun. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I guess the dialogue is what got me. It's like, you're acting wild lately. Oh, knock it off. I'm just like, knock it off, okay? That sounds like the afternoon version of this movie. Thank you. Yes. Like, oh, why don't you just go bowling? And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Who talks talks like this.
Nobody. That's my point, right?
Nobody talks like this.
If he had been like, you fucking bitch. Like, stop.
Done. Yes.
Like, stop. Like, you're driving me crazy. But he says, like, yeah, I know. He says adjacent, right?
No,
which is calling her that.
It is calling her that. And I fucking, I was like, sometimes, I swear to God, it takes all of my strength to not start like barking at a screen. Just like I can't. I'm losing it every time. I'm like, don't say that to her. Bitch adjacent? You're calling her a bitch? Like,
yeah.
It's so fucking stupid.
No, and I will give you that.
I'm watching the worst movie of all time, and I'm still upset. Like
when he says you're bitch adjacent, but you're not a bitch, you're just close to it. That is absolutely calling someone a bitch. You can't backtrack that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Like if you call somebody ugly adjacent,
yeah,
you're calling them ugly. Like no one's gonna be like, oh, thank God I didn't cross that line into ugly. I'm ugly adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's like to give you a more positive example. Kat, when she went and did her sleep study, they were like, they said my sleep apnea is borderline severe. And I said, what side of the border was that on? And she goes, on the severe side. And I was like, yeah, that borderline was for you. You have severe sleep apnea. But she got the CPAP machine. That's all good. But you know, like
that's
you can't,
so funny,
you
though.
can't say you're adjacent to something without calling somebody that thing. But
that's so fucking funny. That borderline was for you.
That borderline was for you.
Oh man, if you had said that to me, I would have had to leave the room. I need to take a lap.
Yeah, you're right.
I had to go just gonna take a run around the block right quick because I can't. Just gotta get this burn off of me.
We're going back to Chris Pratt's character for a second because I just need to get this off my chest, which is like the words again that he uses in this major fight, which are lately you've been so mad and intense and excited, and one of those is maybe a criticism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're like you've been so mad lately and it's driving me crazy. I don't understand what you're so mad about, or I don't understand, you're not normally like this. But then intense and excited are not.
This is why I hate this man. Yes.
Right?
Yes. All of his language was problematic. Okay. Literally looking at the woman you're with, being like, no, it's great. You're the Paula. You're the pushover. Everybody, it's like, no, like, that's not how you do that. Okay. And also, this woman, I'm sorry, is literally, she's so not a pushover. It's insane. It's like we see once or twice when she's like growing up, we see that like, oh, they always used to play wedding and she had to be the dude and she never got to be, the bride. And like, like Liv gets everything she wants and all this kind of stuff. But it's like literally Emma, like Anne Hathaway's character calls Kate Hudson out like within minutes of the movie. It feels like this, as soon as things start to escalate, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
She has no problem being like, you fucking suck in front of a room full of people. And then continues to do that as the movie goes on.
You're right, yeah.
I'm like, I don't think this is I do not buy that this is a spineless person that I'm seeing transform.
You know what's crazy is that's sort of Anne Hathaway's bread and butter, is being like the meek little underdog that learns confidence in like Princess Diaries and I don't know what
and others
like Devil Wears Prada. No, Les Mis is not the right example.
No,
of
I
that.
wouldn't.
She starts as a woman with a job and dies a toothless prostitute on the street. Anyway. Just so confident near the end.
But I would agree that it's like, yes, this should be, and this script did not allow for it.
No.
Because opposite to Chris Pratt, believe that Anne Hathaway is a tremendous actress.
Yeah,
I think she's awesome. I think she can knock most out of the park.
I do like Anne Hathaway. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Lots of people don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a whole thing, but I
think she's
I'm
a
fine
stunner. I think she's hot. I think she's talented. I think she can bring the house down. She can sing, she can dance, she can act, she can do it all.
Triple threat is what they
Good
call
for
that.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yep.
Yes. No, we do. We love her.
Yeah. But she's everybody's actions in this movie are insane.
Okay. May I? This is so like these are two very secondary characters. Like the small characters, but there are two people that I would love to defend right now because I'm like, "Oh my god." Okay. Number 1. So this the whole plot kind of hinges on the fact that this woman, the best, what is her name, Marion, the best wedding planner in all of New York, and somehow they got her right away, even though they have vastly different budgets. We're just going to breeze past that. Doesn't matter. Okay. Anne Hathaway's been saving since she was 16. That's how they justify this. It's so depressing when you realize that she spent her life savings on a man she doesn't marry, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. You just gotta breeze right past that. Woo! Although, to be fair, honestly, that's a lesson I would prefer to learn that way. Like, in the sense of, like, better not than get divorced later.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I think if you get to the wedding day, go through with it. I'm sorry. You paid for this part. Like, you're already in a long-term relationship. It's already going to be tough and weird and hard, and there's probably going to be
but this guy already looked like he wanted to dip out anyway. He saw that video. He was like,
yeah, I mean, which is, he's known her that long. He knows, like, again, we never even established with him that he likes her because, like, that he didn't know about that.
Babe,
you know?
Babe, I can't watch a video of you being hot. I can't.
Right?
I can't do
or
it.
Like, wild 10 years ago. Drunk and wild 10 years ago. Also, not a single wedding, I don't know, audiovisual guy, I don't know what they do, event person is going to play that and be like, oh, well, better keep this running.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd probably shut it down.
Oh, this might be the wrong DVD.
Also, like, let's all relax. Nary a tit. Okay, let's all take a seat. Let's relax, okay? It's not that crazy.
You know what you do? It goes off. Everyone's like, oh, a little bit. The bride turns to her and goes, that wasn't the video I wanted to play. Everyone laughs.
Hey.
It's like, it's okay. I've changed a lot since then. Then you marry the guy.
Yes. No, this guy's a loser.
Yeah.
He's a loser.
No, fair enough.
Yes. Although I don't really feel like the brother was, like, it was just kind of like, you gave us like one scene where they were like, maybe there was like, ooh, there's a bit of tension here. And that's about it.
But to the point where
and then
I had to remind myself who that guy was. I was like, oh, right, they did introduce him as her brother at one point.
Oh.
So presumably they have a history because they've known each other since childhood.
Yes.
Like, that's the... Anyway. So these minor characters, sorry.
Right. Sorry.
There's just so much to talk about.
There is, oh my God. Oh, the absolute trash. Okay. Number 1, Marion's assistant. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. I am team Marion's assistant. Okay. So this whole plot kind of hinges on her fucking up. Okay. She books both of them on the same day instead of putting them on the 2 separate days for their wedding at the plaza and right? Here is how I'm going to defend this woman, okay? Who wouldn't fuck up in that kind of hostile work environment? This woman is receiving verbal abuse from her boss regularly about how she's never going to get married. You better watch your weight gain, even though nothing's going to happen there. I mean, I would be fucking up all over the fucking place. Fuck you, you motherfucker. Okay, no. Mistakes will happen when we're in an environment of that kind of verbal abuse. I won't have any part of it.
Sure.
Okay, I am team her assistant. Okay. I'm also team give them the information. It's like, well, I can't disclose who the other woman is. Yeah, bitch. I would have all the codes. I don't care. I'm handing them out. You fired me, no notice. I'm probably not getting any severance or anything. Yeah.
No.
I'm making it rain. I'm making it rain information. I'm giving out all your contacts. All of them. I'm petty. I'm so petty. Okay, so this woman does like minimal damage, I feel like, okay? And I would argue probably not a fireable offense, okay? Fucking relax, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
If it wasn't the first time, but whatever.
Yes. Okay.
You know what she is? She's one of those jobs where if I walked into the place, I would be like, if the revolution happens while we're here, I'm on your side. Like this is too fancy for me. I don't know why I'm here. If the worker uprising happens, I'm with you. I'm not with
yes, yes, absolutely,
rich ass wedding planner or whatever. Yeah.
Secondarily, the woman that has now the different has planned this certain wedding date.
Sure.
Yeah, it is absolutely 110% her decision whether she wants to give up that date or not. They're like, we'll pay you. Obviously, money doesn't matter to this bitch. Okay, she's getting married in the plaza. Okay, she's downtown. She's scanning things that I've never even dreamed of owning. Okay, and she's already sent out all of her invites.
Yeah, and this is for all of them. It's like a 3-month turnaround.
Yes,
these are all last-minute weddings.
These are all last-minute weddings. This is like literally weeks later. So this is maybe at most 2 months out from your wedding. Okay, you've already invited everybody. You've already started planning everything. These 2 women come up to you and they're like, you have to trade us your date. And it's like, no, and I don't have to. And yes, you should get kicked out. And then they actually kind of start physically accosting her. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's a pretty wild scene. And I'm going to give it to her. Absolutely correct to say no and get them kicked out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there. Yes. Don't give up your date. And like, here's the other thing is Marion also fails to address the problem that she's created. So like, assuming that, my assistant fucked up, sure, booked the wrong thing, but the buck stops at me. You hired me to do a service. You hired me to book these dates.
Yes. Here's
what we're going to do. We're going to get all 3 of you in a room together. We're going to figure something out, and then we'll make it work. Either someone's getting a discount on having a wedding later, it's customer service. You got to make it right.
Absolutely. And like this idea of like, oh, well, we can't get the plaza again for 3 years. And it's like, okay, so somehow magically, you have 3 spots in 3 months and you don't think something else is going to come up.
Yeah.
I would just get somebody to take a seat and be like, listen, I have the line on this. Okay. Like literally, I'm the first person they call about this. Okay. The second somebody drops their date for next year, why don't you wait a year if you want this July wedding at the plaza?
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to drop out. Something's going to happen here.
There's going to be a plane crash on the way to Martha's Vineyard. It's going to open up. It's a tragedy, but we got a couple dates in June on short notice. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is, they're like, there's no dates for 3 years. And you go, okay, Emma, Anne Hathaway, has been with this guy for 10 years already. They live together.
Yeah.
They even have a conversation about like, well, what's really going to change now? Like, like we're essentially married to begin with anyway. We just want to make it official, like whatever. So like, what's the point in waiting 3 years? Like you could, if that's the dream, if that's the thing that you have saved your entire life for, and this is a non-negotiable, here we go.
Yeah.
Then you go, I guess we wait 3 years, save up a little more money so we're not blowing the whole thing, and you let that go. Like, you know how many people were engaged for 3 years over the pandemic? Like,
and then maybe not afterwards,
but
can't pull my collar hard enough. Na na na.
But you didn't get to the altar is the important part.
No.
You didn't blow your life savings.
No, I don't think I could.
For the plaza in June.
Okay, now just as a side note, okay, I think this is also the problem that I personally have with this movie, and it is it's a personal problem. Okay,
Sure.
Like, I could imagine maybe some people watch this movie and they're like, this is light, this is good, this is fun. Okay, it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's crazy comedy. And I think if weddings are like truly like your number one thing, maybe you get into this. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to plan my wedding or whatever. My problem is I don't care at all. Like even a little bit. So it's so hard for me to like wrap my fucking head around this, where like these girls have spent their whole lives thinking about this. And sometimes when I hear these, I don't want to, men, women, anybody that's just like, I just need to get married. I just really need to get married. I'm like, it just always feels to me like it doesn't matter who's in front of you.
Yeah.
And that really stresses me out because it's like, what do you mean? It's like, I can't wait to get married to this person. I understand that. I can't wait to get married to this person. They're my person. They're whatever. This concept of like, I can't wait to get married makes, like, if I was a dude, I'd feel like a fucking meat stick. You know what I mean? I'd be like, it doesn't matter who's here.
Like, oh yeah. And like just the idea of, like, I've been planning this since I was a little girl, so it has to be what it is. You know, I've envisioned it, and I want this dress, and I want the centerpieces to be this color. And it just seems to me to represent such an inflexibility of the dream, which is like that sets me off a little bit too, right? Where you could be like, I've dreamt about what my wedding will look like since I was a little girl.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
That's sure. But then
absolutely.
You go, oh, hey, now things are changing depending on who I'm marrying. Now things are changing depending on...
It's almost like there's another person here making decisions.
Or when we can get married, or
yes.
or all the rest, right? Like
maybe your grandmother can't make it and it's really important to her. Like maybe there's a couple of things that you should compromise on.
Exactly, right? And you go, oh, maybe maybe you dreamed of getting married in the Plaza Hotel, but the man of your dreams is from, Juneau, Alaska. And the thing that's really important to him is that he gets married in the hunting lodge. Yeah.
And they're somewhere in the middle.
Maybe you both end up working in Philadelphia. It's... And like that's where your friends are. Like, you know what I mean? Like just a little flexibility.
Oh, we're gonna need a little flexibility. Yes, absolutely. And these women have, I gotta say, borderline none. Like, I gotta say, like, borderline none. Like, any compromise they have to do, they get absolutely railed into.
Yes.
Against their own will. You know what I mean?
And the character motivations behind it are basically for Anne Hathaway's character. I've never stood up for myself, so I'm standing up because I want a day that's just for me. Okay. Again, I don't feel like we see that, but that's the reason they give.
Yeah.
And for Liv, Kate Hudson, hers is, I need to control everything, because if I can control everything, I can stay one step ahead and I'll never hurt again like I did when my parents died. Like, that's what she says. And one of the, let me tell you, one of the only times in this movie I did feel something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, because I'm very much if I can control it, I can stay ahead of it. I can.
Okay, yes.
Yes, if I know enough, I can be in control, and you never can.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But, yeah, and that's the reason that they're so unmoving. And at no point do we see them being friends, really?
Yeah, okay. So that, actually, you brought up a really great point that I wanted to talk about, too, that these women remind me of what would happen if you didn't allow yourself to grow apart.
Oh,
like if you forced yourself, you're like, we were friends before.
We were in kindergarten class together, and now we must remain friends.
We must, okay. Because it's like, also, all of their secondary friends are shit, it seems like. Like, it just, first of all, none of them seem that happy about either of them getting married, and it's like this whole like, woe is me, they're getting married before me.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
there is that.
I'm like, can we get one woman on a different timeline? Like, can we get one woman with a couple of different desires other than oh, there's not a dick to come home to, so what's the point of living? And it's like, oh, maybe if we could just have one independent bitch up in here, that'd be great. I would love to see it.
Yes.
And then you have like their one friend that's like literally within this timeline gets married and gets a divorce and is absolute garbage to her husband. And it's like, okay, so that woman's also this isn't good. So all of your secondary friends are shitty.
Yeah.
And you're both shitty to each other.
Yeah.
And the only way it works is if one of you is constantly bending to the other one. And I've had that friendship before. I think a lot of us have had that friendship before where, you know, like there's you have that friend that's very like charming, charismatic, but they need it their way. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, they've always had it their way and they need it their way now. And I don't think Liv ever came back around to me as a likable character because she started so shitty, so strong, and then just kind of kept hitting that beat. Whereas it was almost like Anne Hathaway's character. It was like she started kind of good, and then she just got shittier and shittier and shittier, just based off of her actions, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, so I'm just watching two women that shouldn't be friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And in defense of those secondary friends, the mutual friends, you're right. They do act sort of crazy about like, oh, they're getting married. Like, we don't need to see that. But in their defense, I'm noping out of that situation myself.
Like, that's a great point. That's a great. I'd be like, that's between you two.
You are both our close friends.
Yes.
And we're all going to talk about how you've absolutely lost it. Mm-hmm. And insulting each other at the bachelorette party. And like if I had two friends that I liked individually and they acted that way to each other, I'd be like, well, maybe we'll circle back to both of you after you're both married and you've figured out what this is between you. I'm not going to choose sides on this.
Yes.
I'm not even going to decide what wedding to go to.
I think so. Yes. Yeah, I'd probably just nope out of the whole thing.
Yeah, you'd be like, it's not worth it. Sorry, we made plans to leave the city that weekend.
And also
on the weekend of our wedding, yeah, actually, after we got the save the date. Because, no thank you.
Now, maybe it's, and I'm going to re-say this because I do, it might be because I don't care.
Right?
So it might be because of that. But I literally, when they were like double wedding, I'm like, yes, double wedding.
Sure.
Double wedding, who gives a fuck? You're your two best friends.
Yes.
Just stagger, do whatever you need to do, just kind of stagger it throughout the day or whatever. It's like, okay, so you go to their ceremony and then we pop over to my ceremony and then we're going to have a big reception in the middle.
Because we've known each other our whole lives. Like,
and all of the same people are coming to these things.
It's overlapped. That is what we call serendipity. Happy accident, right?
Yeah.
We were going to have it.
Yes.
We got booked at the same venue in the same day. Mm-hmm. And the reason they give is like, I just want a day that's just me. And I was like, well, I get that, but now, like, at no point do either of them say, like, oh, there's so much tension in between us. Maybe the solution is we do have that joint wedding.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever takes a step down and be like, what is worse, running around giving each other, like, what is it, tangerine orange spray tans and bright blue hair dyes. Then, or having a joint wedding with my best friend.
I really wanted to ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
What did you think was the worst thing somebody did in this movie? Like, you know what I mean? Other than Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt. What do you, like, between those two women, what do you think the worst one was?
I think it was the bright orange spray tan. I think that is the worst because, like, let me tell you, you can rock some blue highlights in your hair. You can rock it as a lawyer even if you're good enough. Maybe not professional, but you can also just walk into the office and be like, hey, everybody, my hair is blue. Had a bit of a hair dyeing accident. It's a week before my wedding. I apologize. I'm getting it fixed. And no one in that room is going to be like, oh, that's unprofessional. But you show up as a Cheeto, and she is Cheeto orange. Okay, like kudos to the makeup artist in this who turned Anne Hathaway into a glowing orange woman.
I will say this, the shot they did unfolds very well because she's a little further away and you're like, oh, that's bad. And then she keeps walking and it just gets worse. And you're like, oh, they did that well, actually.
Yeah.
That one shot of her coming closer to her, like, I don't know how this could get worse, but it did, and actively. Like, fuck, that made me laugh so hard. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, because like there's a lot of like little stuff where it's like, oh, she posted 2 engagement announcements and the photo of her looks really good and the photo of Kate Hudson looks like kind of shit. It's like
a teenage photo of braces and
which I'm like what adult what professional lawyer, like adult woman is running around going, oh no one can see me as a child. I look disgusting. Every time I see a photo of myself as a child, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, who cares? You're a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh my God, that's sweet.
I'd be like, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
That's
like,
pretty
that's
funny.
a pretty, like, that's actually, and I'm not, I fucking hate pranks. That's a prank I could get behind. I'd be like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's harmless.
It's like
it's
a guy, buddy.
harmless.
Yeah, like if we were in the paper together and I put a picture of myself as an adult and you as a kid, you'd be like,
that's so funny. Like, who cares? That's not a big deal.
It's not.
And she starts spinning the fuck out. Also with the hair thing. So like, wear a wig, like, or do something. You know what I mean? Like,
put it under the veil, something. And again, blue highlights, not that bad.
Yeah, the orange skin. I was like, every time she's like, yeah, I've just been scraping off layers of skin, and I'm like, that is just like that's
because those are permanent. Like that's
literally what you have to do.
Semi-permanent tan. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like you just have to let it continue to wash off and scrub off and what have you. And I'm like, man, does that stress me out?
One thing I can't really blame her for is she keeps sending Liv like all these treats and things to try and like make her gain weight so she can't fit into her dress. I was like, she's choosing to eat them. You know, like you can send tons of sweets and everything like that.
Yes. I don't think that's that big. But also, okay, I hate that plot line also.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like, it's just like, no. Every time they said, like, no, you don't understand. You don't alter Vera Wang. You alter your body to Vera Wang. Like, you alter yourself. And I'm like, literally, if that is what people say, Vera Wang's a fucking shit designer. Do you know what I mean? If you can't alter the wedding dresses that this individual makes, then you're not good at it. Buy something else. Jesus fucking Christ.
I agree. Oh yeah, and it's just like, oh, who's not gonna gain a little weight? Who's not gonna fluctuate weight within like buying your dress to the wedding day? You know, like everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. That's why you get something tailored. I'm sorry, and you're right. If you're gonna pay that much for an outfit, for a dress, and you can't get it tailored,
yes.
Oh.
I need.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Yes, and I hated the plot line of like, oh, well, you saw it first. And it's like, well, no, I'm going to wear my mother's wedding dress because I know it means so much to her. And then they get to the wedding, the mom's like, I don't give a fuck. Wear whatever you fucking want. What are you talking about? Like, it's so funny because she makes such a big deal about it. And it's like, and I kind of get it because it's like, you have like, they wrote this character to have these anxieties and supposed to be meek. And it's kind of like they punctuated little points throughout, but it was never believable because it didn't run with the rest of her narrative. Yeah,
well, yes. And the mother saying like, I don't care what you wear. It was supposed to be like, honey, it doesn't matter to me. What I want is you to be happy. Like, it's nice that you wore this dress, but it's your life. Like, I would love you no matter what. Like, that's the speech that they do. But the way that it's actually presented is like, I don't care if you wear my dress. Why would you like?
It's super dismissive.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's so funny.
It's not. It's like where it should have been like a honey that's so sweet.
Thank you so much.
But like that whatever you choose, I'm always gonna support you and love you, and you didn't need to do this for me. This is my little girl's big day. You should have done what made you happy. I got married in the 70s. Fashion was awful then.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I was to wear my mother's wedding dress, which at the time when I was considering getting married, I was going to do that, but I was going to get it all completely altered.
Right.
Right? Like, I was going to get it kind of ripped apart and then redone. So there was, like, moments and pieces in it that I'm like, yes, this is what my mother wore, but also... it's 2020, you know what I mean? It was it's 2020. Yeah, if we could possibly, you know what I mean? I'm going to cut off the sleeves at least, like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. When she's like, I don't care.
And I know men have it so much easier when it comes to like wedding outfits, but I always like to say, like, I have been in 3 weddings.
Damn.
I have had to buy a suit for each one. Because,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's expensive.
Yeah, but I will also say none of those suits ever fit me again. So if you want, guys out there, if you want a record of the size and shape that your body was when somebody got married, that it will never be again, get yourself a custom tailored suit.
Hey. That body is yours, but for a moment.
But for a moment. And it will just dissolve into whatever afterwards. Yeah, that's like literally so none of them I can wear again. It's insane.
I feel like I have, just as a I feel like, and maybe I'm not the only one, you guys can tell me. I feel like most women have like 3 wardrobes, actually. Like 3 separate wardrobes. And one of them is for when you've lost weight. One of them's for when you're thinner. One of them's for when you're pushing it a bit. You're like, hey, it's been a summer. I've been drinking. Hey, what are you gonna do? And then you have your like baseline outfits where you're like, these ones will always fit no matter where I am. You know what I mean? Like you kind of got your stretchy clothes where you're like, oh no, old reliable.
Your Hulk pants.
Yes. Is that what men call them? Because they should.
They should, yeah. Your incredible Hulk pants, your little purple sweats that you... I'm
going to start calling them my She-Hulk pants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's an attorney. So
that's right. Educated lady.
I'm just picturing Rebecca walking around her apartment in like purple stretchy pants being like, I'm an educated lady. This outfit choice is empowering.
That's so funny. I feel so empowered in my purple stretchy pants. Honestly, yeah, that checks out. Fair. Purple is a power color. Okay, it's powerful.
Just need a couple of those Hulk gloves to go with it. You know, the Hulk smash gloves.
Craig, don't even tempt me. You know, I would walk around in my house with those on. 100% I would. I have so much fun at home. Why wouldn't you just get it? You know what I mean? I feel like at least once a week, my roommate will come into a room and just look at me and snap a picture of me because whatever I'm doing is so fucking insane. Like, the other day, I swear to God, she does this with me all the time. She never posts them, but she's like, I just need it for me. Like,
this happened.
I need to remember this happened. Like, the other day, I was going to a wedding this weekend, and I decided I was going to make the dress I was going to wear. So I'm making this dress, and I've got to have, like, it's like really last minute, and I've got to hem it, right? So I'm getting myself ready. So I've showered, and so I've got my big, like, fluffy robe on, and I've got this face mask on, like one of the sheet ones.
Sure.
So I look like an absolute ghoul, and I'm just like hunched over. It's like 10 a.m. I'm hunched over my sewing machine with my huge headphones on, just like. Just like mumble rapping to myself like a fucking lunatic. She just turns the corner, starts laughing her ass off, and just click. Okay, I need it.
That is amazing.
Anyway.
That is so good.
So I like to roll in my house. Okay, so there is absolutely one more character I would like to talk about.
Go for it.
And I think she's very okay. Like I absolutely think the movie presents her as a villain, and I would like to defend her. And it is Anne Hathaway's coworker.
Oh yeah. Turned her maid of honor. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So she picks her as her maid of honor because she can't. She. Also, I find it scary that neither of these women can find another friend to do that for them. Not good friends. Okay. Yeah. If you run out of your list at one, oh no. Oh no. You're calling third cousins? Like, this is not good. Okay. So Anne Hathaway finally, she kind of lands on like, okay, I'm going to get this woman that she feels like she doesn't even have that good of a relationship with, where she's like, this woman kind of runs me over, whatever. And I'm like, does she?
Yeah, she does.
I think a little bit, but I think all you have to do is say no.
True.
Because like I've dealt with people like that. This woman isn't on planet Earth. At no point does she express to be on planet Earth. Every time she walks into a room, she's like, don't I look fucking phenomenal? I'm always doing favors for you when it's the other way around.
But that's a particular kind of...
That's so funny to me.
Manipulative, though. I don't like that. Like where they go like, hey, can you take this for me? Okay. Okay, fine. I'll do the thing I asked you to take, but only if you take this other thing for me. Thanks, you owe me. Like, it's no. Come on.
Yeah, but
Someone who asks you for a favor and then convinces you that they're doing a favor for you? No.
No, I think she's just living in that space, okay? I don't think when you see somebody like that, just don't buy into the narrative. We work with people like this all the time.
True.
Constantly, okay? I talk to these people all the time, okay? And I just either say no, or I let them run their mouths, and I'm like, sick, good for you. And then I walk away. I don't invite them to my wedding.
Yeah.
I don't make them my maid of honor.
No.
And then I don't act surprised when they act the way they've always acted. Because I fucking hate that. Okay, when somebody's like, oh, wow, this person that I invited that always does this thing I don't like, they're doing the thing I don't like again. And it's like, yeah, bitch, what do you mean? Do you think they were going to change it up for this for you? What do you...
Believe when people tell you who they are, believe them.
Yes. Yeah, believe this bitch. Don't do this. So I just think she's defensible in the sense of like, all this woman has to do is say no. This woman's not on planet Earth, and Anne Hathaway is. So when you have, for part of the movie, for the front end of this movie. So when you have somebody that's on planet Earth and you're talking to somebody that's not, what I like to call them is cartoon characters. I think we've talked about this. I think there's two types of people, okay? There's people, and then there's cartoon characters. And it's like, you can't take what they say seriously because they're not here. How could this be offensive or a problem or an issue? Because they're really not here. Nothing is about you, okay? It's all about them.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Don't invite them to your wedding is the big... Yeah, and that's the thing. All these escalations, and like at every step along the way, everybody should have just gone, this makes so much more sense if we just had a joint wedding.
Absolutely.
Whatever stress there would be of it's not your entire day, well, you're losing that anyway. You're losing it by dividing your friends up. You're losing it by creating tension within... Well, they essentially have the same family because her parents are dead and like the...
oh, yeah. Like they're literally like constantly... Like they're going across to each other's rooms being like, okay, like it wouldn't be right if we didn't say hi to you on your wedding.
Just
let it happen.
Everybody take a step back, do the joint wedding.
I'm going to say one more thing because I have dunked on Chris Pratt a lot, okay? The big defense I'm going to give this man, okay? Because I believe he is strongly a villain in this movie.
Sure.
And we are defending them, okay? I didn't at all this hour. But I will say this. If I was engaged to somebody and I watched them do the things Anne Hathaway does, I wouldn't walk down the aisle either.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't allow myself to get there.
Both of these guys, I think, have a legitimate complaint that their spouses or soon-to-be spouses, their fiancés, are acting childish.
Oh, yeah.
They are being petty.
Yes.
And there is a thing where you go, what am I getting into?
Oh, absolutely. If I watch somebody I love do this, I'd be like, I don't think I actually know you.
Thank you.
And I think it would have been a much better movie if they had have done a little more of that.
Yeah.
Because then that is a character development I really believe.
Yes. I liked you because you're kind. I liked you because you have these long relationships that you've worked very hard on. Like, these are things that you know that you're accommodating to other people, that you do these things, and then to just turn that off and go and attack your best friend because of the wedding, which is just kind of an event and a party, and now you're excluding me from this. Yeah, let's take a step back and see who are you really and what motivates you, because what's going to stop you from going off on somebody like me or somebody else that you're close to in the future for this? What is it about this wedding that is triggering this in you?
I don't. I think yes. I think
both of those guys should have just walked away and been like.
Although I would argue, like, Kate Hudson's husband already knew she's like that.
Yeah,
she is like somebody busting up their own engagement and being like, just, are you gonna ask me already? I'm like, I was. Literally, I wanted to just start. I was pawing at myself when this was happening. I was like, no. I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. I just really did not like it.
No. I agree. I will say, and I'm interested to hear your opinion on this. The Chinese food proposal, I really liked. I wanted to propose at home. This is where we build our, I hid the ring in the Chinese food, and just the whole, like, in the fortune cookie. And I mean, just the whole, like, no, that one's mine. And like having to switch it. I was like, oh yeah, no, I like that. Yeah. I think that's a good.
Oh yeah. You know me. I like a private engagement.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Are we ready to rank our villains?
Absolutely. I've got a wedding scale.
Okay, great.
So on a scale from something old to something new, I am going to give Fletcher, Chris Pratt's character, we never even once mentioned his name, a something blue, because damn, the way your fiance is acting is a real bummer.
Also, his name's Fletcher.
Yeah,
Yuck.
fair enough.
You knew he was going to be bad by that name.
Fair enough.
You could tell. That's a particular name. Anyway, so I'm ranking both of our ladies, our brides. So, and it's the friendship scale. So from friendship bracelets to a real ride or die, I'm going to give both of them a blood pact, because, like, why are you hurting each other? Okay, just be friends and allow this to happen.
I love that. That's great.
And guys, before we get to our heroes and villains of the week, as always, there's a couple of ways you can help out the podcast. If you would like to hit us up on Patreon, we have so much bonus content for you. I have been terrorizing Craig with bad movies, and it is making me so happy.
And me so frustrated.
So if you guys want to listen to some bonus content every month, Craig has a pick, I have a pick, we discuss them. The villain isn't right, but we like to talk about, some fun movies. This month we're doing, Craig's pick is Rambo First Blood.
Yes.
I had never seen it before. Lots of comments on this movie. So guys, if you want to check that out, or if you want to be a part of our audience choice, you want an ad-free tier, we have you. Please visit us at patreon.com/villainwasright. And if you would like to get in touch with us.
Yeah, you can get in touch with us on all the social media platforms. VWR Podcast on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now. And
I literally...
I don't even know.
I think I open it like once every week and a half now or something, and I used to open Twitter every day.
Yeah, same. Anyway, we're still on Twitter. We will see your messages.
Yeah.
We're also on Instagram at Villain Was Right, as well as the TikTok. Villain Was Right. The Villain Was Right there on TikTok. So if you want to see some clips from the shows, we're on there. And if you want to get in touch with us, send us a quick note. or send in your suggestions for what movies you want to see covered. You can get in touch with us at villainwasright@gmail.com. And now it is time for our heroes and villains of the week. What do you got, Rebecca?
Okay, so I have a hero. I have an absolute hero that I think a lot of people would perhaps disagree as a hero. Okay. But okay, so I booked this last minute gig at Levity in Hamilton. They needed a headliner for Friday night, so I scooped that up, and I was driving with another comic, and we'd just gotten into Hamilton, and we're driving down this weird like one way where I'm like, I don't even know if we're supposed to be on this road, but like you know
Hamilton's
Hamilton, maybe it's a very confusing place. Anyway, so we've just arrived. We got to get through this one street to get to the parking lot, and this one woman starts walking in front of us like on the street and doesn't move. She just keeps walking at this very casual pace. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the most boss bitch things I've ever seen in my entire life. This woman did not turn around. She did not break her pace. She just kept going as fast as she fucking wanted to go. Well, we just inched behind her, and we got closer and closer towards the end of the street, and she still never turned around, and we were both losing our fucking minds in the car, because I just can't. She never turned around once, but I can't explain it to you. She was obvious. I could tell she was like a student or something, and she just had an attitude of try it, bitch. And yum, 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 yum. I gotta tell you, like, certainly if I was in a hurry, I'd probably be losing my mind or something. But we had arrived early, we were casual, and just like being with a friend in the car, we were both fucking dying. Because I have never seen, I'm not talking like 20 seconds. I think it took us a minute to 2 minutes to get down to the end of this street.
No,
we were screaming laughing. Okay, and then there was one guy walking kind of in front of her that kept swiveling around because he's like, this car's gonna hit us. But he knew that the car would hit her first, so he kept going, okay, I guess we're doing this. But with so much less confidence than this other woman. I was losing my freaking mind. Anyway, honestly, aspirational. Loved it. Thank you, 10 out of 10, hero of the week.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, I love me some Hamilton.
Oh, it is a very particular vibe.
I went to university there for 4 years, so it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
I know the people.
Preaching the choir.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a villain this week. It is another Craig Fay versus technology, everybody. Hey. Craig Fay versus technology. So to set the scene a little bit, Kat had gone away to visit her parents for a couple days, so I had the place to myself. And, watching TV, playing some PlayStation 5, enjoying myself. And then all of a sudden, our remote for the Apple TV stops being able to, like, adjust the volume on the television. Okay. Like it did before, doesn't now. And I'm like, well, I can figure this out, right? Certainly this is within the scope of my abilities.
Historically. So, maybe not.
So I'm like, well, when in doubt, reboot, right? So I rebooted the Apple TV. Still doesn't work. I was like, well, maybe it's on the TV end. So I like reboot the TV and that doesn't work. And then I'm like, all right, well, how do you set this up? And I'm Googling things. I'm like, volume doesn't work. And it's like, go into the TV settings and turn this off. And then go into the Apple TV settings and turn this off. And then reboot both and then like turn them back on again. It's like, so I did all that. And then they're like, try changing this. I'm changing all these fucking settings off and on. I'm rebooting things 3 or 4 times. I'm trying to sync things. I'm like going on Reddit and I'm reading things about like how people got this problem solved and all the rest. And, like make sure it's plugged into the right HDMI port so it's sending the right signals. I'm going through all of this and I'm just like, well, like sometimes they do a software update in the background and now 2 pieces of technology don't talk to each other.
It's broken.
It's broken. It's broken. I can still adjust the volume on the other remote. It just doesn't work. And then Kat gets home and we're sitting watching TV and I'm like, oh, by the way, while you were gone, the volume stopped working on this remote, so we've got to use the other one. She goes, oh, yeah, when that happens, you just have to reboot the remote. And I was like, fucking... Jeez, the one thing I
that you didn't do, yeah.
didn't reboot or didn't do. Didn't even occur to me.
I didn't know you could reboot a remote, quite frankly. I'm not even going to pretend that I knew that you could do that.
Right? So Kat fixes it within literally 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I have a degree in engineering.
Nothing makes me happier than that, though. That's so funny to me every time, though, when you spend, like, so much time on something and somebody walks in and they're like, no, it's just that. And you're like, what the fuck?
I was thinking about it the right way, too. Anyway.
Yes.
So frustrating.
So one day, Craig.
One day I'm gonna have a success with technology. But yeah, that's it for us this week. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Craig Fay Comedy on Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram, and TikTok. I've got TikTok now.
Hey.
I'm doing some. You want to hear some more Science Me stuff? Head on over to TikTok. Check it out. And yeah.
Hell yeah. And you can follow me at Rebecca Reitz on any platform of your choosing. Guys, next week, it's going to be back to school month. Check it out. We're starting with an absolute classic, The Babysitter's Club. Nostalgia to the max. So guys, look out for that next week. And this is The Villain Was Right, reminding you to fear the spray tan.
The Villain Was Right is produced by Andrew Ivimey as part of the From Superheroes Network. For more great podcasts like this, as well as webcomics, articles, and so much more, visit FromSuperheroes.com.